and welcome to episode 62 of Girlfriends Knitting. This will probably be a pretty short episode, and I will talk about that in just a second. But my name is Carolyn. I go by Call Shirley on Ravelry, Plurk, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, pretty much any and all social media. Thank you for watching. I'm so sorry it has been so long since I last recorded. There has been a lot of illness around my house. 99% mine this time, which is unusual around my house. It's normally not my illness that we are dealing with. But it started right before SSK. I ended up leaving SSK a little bit early because I was not feeling well. Got home, just never quite recovered. And then beginning of last week, started running a fever. Couldn't get it to go down. We're still running tests and not 100% sure what's going on. They have some suspicions. I don't think it's anything that's not going to be able to be fixed. They don't think that either. So, no worries. And I am taking care of myself. Nurse Amy is very strict about rest and relaxation and not overdoing it and making sure you go and have everything done that the doctor says to do. So, hopefully just some tweaking of some medications and everything will be hunky-dory. But a lot of time at home asleep, which is very unusual for me. So that's what I have been doing, and is why you have not seen me. So thank you for sticking it out with me. With that in mind, because we aren't quite sure what's going on, and I'm not 100% better. In addition, school is ramping back up. We just had our first faculty meeting of the year. A lot of work-related travel coming up for me. There's going to be a lot that's going on that's going to just be adding to my plate. And so I'm trying to take things off of my plate that I can. So one of the things that I decided to take off of my plate was editing, which means I'm not going to be doing a lot of intro editing or exit editing. I'm not going to be adding a lot of pictures. Probably not going to be doing the cool showing you what my computer's doing at the same time that I'm talking and showing you screenshots of myself, simply because that takes an enormous amount of editing time. If there are any podcasters out there that are interested in doing that, I'm very willing to share and tell you how I did it. I had really great reviews of that and people loved that. I just don't personally have time to keep doing that at this time. Should my time free up, I will go back to doing that, but it does not look like I'll be doing that in the near future. There's also probability that you will only be getting episodes every other week instead of every week. Again, that's going to just be depending on how I feel and how much crazy is going on at work, because of course I need to make sure that that gets handled first. So, not a lot of editing, so it's just going to be, here I am, here's the knitting, I hope y'all are doing great, and signing off. And then possibly every week, but there may be gaps like there has been this summer. There's been a lot of gaps this summer, and that may continue so that it's more of an every other week than an every week thing. So that's the main business that I wanted to talk about. Then some fun business. We've had some awesome giveaways, which I have continued even though I have not been recording. I've just been linking to the people, which I like, because that way, like, if I didn't catch that episode, or if I'm running late on an episode or running behind on podcasts, which with my illness, you'd think that I would have had time to sit home and watch podcasts. I've slept. Literally slept. 15 to 20 hours a day slept. Like, it's been very heavily medicated, not doing anything. It's going to look like I've done a lot of knitting, but keep in mind that it's because I haven't seen you in 3 weeks, not because I've actually done a lot of knitting. So I did manage to do some prize drawings. So first of all, the Here's to Your Health July. A lot of chatter in that thread, and so everybody was great about helping me clean that up to where each entry was labeled as an entry, because remember, you get 4 entries because you basically get an entry per week. So you get 4 entries a month of what you're doing, good, bad, or otherwise, with your health that month. So like right now I could post about how I'm not doing a whole lot because I'm having to focus on illness. And so medicine taking, lots of water drinking, lots of sleep. That's what I've been doing. And that is for my health. So that's fine if those are the kind of entries. And again, just only what you are comfortable with. Certainly I'm not sharing a whole lot about what's going on, but enough to let you know what is up with me. Only what you're comfortable sharing. Whether you're exercising more than normal or less than normal, eating better, you've watched something new about health-related stuff that you'd like to share. Again, anything like that is great. 4 entries per month. Label your post as entry and then what number entry it is for you. And then anything else that you post, you can chatter and talk, because to me, I find that the chatter is what helps motivate us. So I didn't want to say no chatter, but at the same time I need something to help clean it up. It also means I'm going to do the random drawings off camera for those, because it does take 2 or 3 times of get a random number, check to see if that's a chatter or an entry, get a random number, check to see if that's a chatter or entry, and continue to do that until I get an entry. So I was so excited for our first winner for the Here's to Your Health July, because it's our very own Iron Woman, Linda, who is El Mikal, I think is how you would say her Rav name. Linda, I apologize if that's not correct. But she completed an Ironman triathlon. So excited for her. And so she's contacted me already. And we've got some awesome stitch markers picked out. And I apologize, I have not mailed them out yet. But they are getting in the mail to her. So I'm just very excited that she won. And then as a little side note on the Rav group, you can see that actually the first entry that I drew that was an entry was my mom's. Well, Mom's not going to win stitch markers. Mom can have whatever stitch markers she wants. So I love that she's entering. I want her to keep entering. And then if she wants stitch markers, she can just ask me and she will get stitch markers. So Mom won and then Linda won. And I'm so excited about that. The second awesome prize giveaway was the SSK messenger bag. And the winner of the first messenger bag, yes, you heard me right, was Denali Katz. And that is, oh, I didn't write down her actual name. Her and I have been talking back and forth. And she has been so sweet. And she's given me some patterns. And I'm sending her the messenger bag. She's not getting the messenger bag because of the patterns. She's basically paying for her shipping, which I thought was so sweet of her to offer, which she totally didn't have to. She's international, and so she had that very, very generous spirit of offering to do something to try and help offset that cost, because it can get very expensive to ship to international right now. But I love it when my international viewers watch the podcast, and then definitely when they win prizes. So I'm getting that shipped off to her. But what's even more exciting is that Emily, Ooh Fancy Pants of the What You Swatchin' podcast, contacted me, and she said, you know, I'm in the same boat. I don't want it to go to waste, but I don't use this particular type of bag. So give away 2 and have the second person contact me. So I did, and so Gabby won, is getting the bag from Emily. And of course, Emily's on her honeymoon, and so she's already contacted Emily, and Emily will get in touch with her when that lucky duck's back from Australia. So I hope she's having a wonderful time, and we'll get those bags out to you. The last but not least drawing is for the Daizie yarn, which I actually have sitting over there, but I forgot to grab to show you. But please go on the Ravelry page and look at the gorgeous pictures of the Daizie yarn, and then go and check out Jennifer's Etsy shop for Daizie yarn. She also does custom orders. We're currently working on a sweaters quantity order for me that I think is going to become a Harry Potter cardigan. I'm so excited. And the winner is Phoenix Fire, Tracy. And Tracy and I had a great time playing Cards Against Humanity with a bunch of different people at the Stockinette Zombies retreat this summer. And so Tracy, if you will PM me, I will get you that awesome yarn. And everybody go and thank Jennifer for donating that yarn, and go check out her Etsy shop. Last, but very, very, very not least, I mean, this is something I have to send out huge apologies for, is an awesome new podcast you need to go and check out. It's Heather. She's Heather219 on Ravelry. And she has Knits and Things, which is a new podcast. She's on episode 4. I just went and looked a little bit ago. And what I love about it is that it's Dr. Seuss themed. In other words, the titles are like Thing 1, Thing 2, Fox and Socks. Just cute things. And I am a huge Dr. Seuss fan. So I loved that. Please go and check out her podcast. And Heather, I apologize that it has taken me a month and a half to give a shout out to you about that, because I told you back at the beginning of July I would do this. And that is just totally on me, not on Heather at all or anything with her podcast. So everybody, please go and check her out. Join her Ravelry group. I'll post information in some show notes for you to go check her out. All right, I think that's it for the business of the day. Let's jump into some FOs. I have tons, but basically because literally I think I recorded on a Friday, and then that Saturday and Sunday I was like finish all the things because I had a whole bunch of projects that were 50 yards from being done. So very short, quick finish up and then they're done. So I spent that weekend, I apologize, my nose is itching. I spent that weekend doing that. So the first thing that I have, and it's probably my, well, maybe second favorite of all of these projects, is the baby chalice blanket. And it came out, you see it's been folded for a while. It came out really awesome. I love how it blocked. It's not very big, as you can see. And this is for my friend Emily, who lost her little girl back in April. And so I'm going to go and have lunch with Emily and bring her the blanket for her beautiful little baby girl. And go and sit and cry and hug her and laugh, and we're good at that. Emily was my college roommate, so we were very close, and we still live fairly close to each other. She lives about 30 minutes on one direction from our old college, and I live about 30 minutes the other direction from our old college. Neither one of us moved very far. The next thing that I finished up is probably the oddest object I have ever knit, and if you have been watching me on Instagram, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm going to put it on because it's really the only way to truly grasp this object. So, if I lived, I don't know, Scandinavia, Alaska, somewhere in that region, this would be awesome. It is super warm. It's like a hood cowl thing. These buttons do unbutton. And I did it all in gray, so I did some very bright, just random buttons to kind of add some color. So you can, you know, open it up like this. This is the Jimmy Bean wool. See, I might wear it more like that if I wear it at all. It's the Jimmy Bean's wool Game of Thrones mystery knit along, and it is Arya's water cowl. And like I said, it is very unique. I honestly have no idea why I kept knitting it because it's not my taste. I'm not saying it's not awesome, and some of the pictures, like especially the picture of the designer in the one she made, is really cute. And I do love, I used 2 different cheap acrylic grays that had some wool content that drape. One is Perfections. This is the same yarn I used for Chelsea's sweater. The other is Martha Stewart Merino, so I think it's actually a wool. But anyway, I love how I did the sections. I think that's super cute. And I think that's why I kept doing them, because I did like those sections. I do like the bird's eye lace panels. And I think the addition of the cute little bright buttons really adds a touch to that gray. But I don't know what I'm going to do with it. it's just very unique, and I've never knit anything like it before, and I probably won't again. But there you go. That's what you get with a mystery knit along. The next thing that I did was Camp Loopy! Camp Loopy Project 2. I'm backing up because this thing is big, people. This thing is big. It is my Pinwheel baby blanket. It is the perfect size for laying down and the baby to lay down and roll around on, throwing over a car seat. I absolutely adore it. Yay! So this is yarn, of course, from Loopy U. It's the Merino worsted Malabrigo in Soto Bosque. Knit on size 9 needles, I believe. And I did add a little ruffly edge. And I got it done and turned in on time. So now I just need to get Project 3 done and turned in on time, and I will have completed Camp Loopy. I did have a little bit of yarn from that I stole because it had to be at least 500 yards. And I actually had 610 of that particular yarn. So I stole about 100 yards and made this super teeny tiny little cardigan. It is a newborn 0 to 3 month size. It is open, that's why it looks a little bit bigger, but it's only like 30 stitches across the back. It's very tiny. See, I mean, it's like my side of my head. It's super tiny. And then that cute little button, which I just think makes the whole thing, is by Gnome Acres. I got to meet the lovely Amanda, and I believe that was her husband, at the SSK retreat at the market. And all I did for the button, because the button is so big, and I just had to use it because it was too perfect, is I just crocheted a little chain and then attached it for the button to slip through so that it holds it closed. And especially for a little bitty tiny baby, you're just going to want something that you can slip over them and not have to do a whole lot of fussing with buttons and stuff. It has a seed stitch trim all the way around. And again, it's the same yarn, size 7. So this is a tighter gauge than that is. What else do I want to say about this? It blocked beautifully. I love it. This is from the formula that Susan B. Anderson gave us. And I believe I had a picture last time of her holding the baby cardigan in the show. I just hadn't finished with the cute little button. So I wanted to show you. So again, like I said, not like I finished all of these projects. I just had a few little ends and things to finish up on each of those. So what have I been doing? Well, I haven't gotten much further on this because of my Camp Loopy 3 project. But Desert Vista Dye Works. Yay, Susan Purple Haze. Dummers at Scarritt-Bennett. This colorway, oh, that's a great representation. It's yellow, but it's got like different shades, sort of a wheat and a straw and a true yellow. And then some of them are a little bit greener, some of them are a little bit browner. And it's very obvious, it's even more obvious when you're knitting that it's shaded. See how there's some brown and some yellow and some green. Okay, so it calls for a long tail cast on, which I did not do. I did a long tail provisional cast on, which I showed y'all last week. So that's what this blue is at the bottom. That's my provisional cast on. And then, of course, my knitting needle. And then I have some stitch markers in here for various things. I'm using my Hiya's Sharp US size 4. And I'm about halfway through chart 1. It is a very fun knit, but I'm trying to knock out something else right now. So I haven't had a chance to get working on it as much as I would like. But that knit along is in our group. It's in Wolf Farms, Knit by Bit Designs, Desert Vista Dye Works, and Savvy Girls. So I think there's 5 different places that you can enter your finished project. And the deadline, at least for my group, is September 30th. And that is Susan approved. So I believe that's also going to be the deadline in her group and Dawn's group. There are different colorways. Since I was a podcaster that went to SSK, I have the actual SSK colorway. Dawn, for example, did not attend SSK, and so her colorway is not the SSK colorway. So there are many different colorways, and people who attended SSK, people who did not attend SSK, many different people are participating in that. So please check it out. Penny's design is wonderful. And when you look at the inspiration picture and then you look at her shawl picture, that's what sold me. That is what sold me. She also, I did notice, posted a correction in our group to charts 1 and 2. It's a very simple correction, not anything really that you need to stress about, but I would definitely go check it out. So if you are participating in the knit along, I'm sure she posts that in other groups as well, but there is a correction from the designer. So please check that out. So what have I been spending all of my time on? This! More gorgeous Desert Vista Dye Works. I'm just on I get on kicks like that. I love it. The only thing I don't like, and this is not Susan's fault at all, it's just totally a me thing. And right here is the perfect thing. You see how you can see that little spot of yellow? Okay, so it's all these gorgeous blues and greens and whites, and it's called Castles in Ice. And then every once in a while you have that spot of yellow. And I mean, that's what she meant. That's what she intended. But for me, it just detracts, and I don't know why. See? Just these every once in a while little spot of yellow. I think is my color sense, which is not a good color sense. So, you know, like I said, don't go by me. I think of yellow as a warm color, and I think of these blues and greens as cool colors, and so the ice. And so when I see that yellow, it's kind of like, but I have a feeling, and Susan can correct me, but I have a feeling that it's kind of like the sunshine shining off of the ice. You're going to have those pops of bright. You get me? You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you think of a castle of ice with light hitting it. So, I have been reading Harry Dresden, Cold Days. And if you are not familiar with the Harry Dresden novels, you really need to check them out. They're by Jim Butcher. It's like the Harry Potter wizard grew up and kind of went a little dark. Harry Potter grew up, got a little dark. Kind of joined forces with Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. I love it. I love it. I love Jim's sense of humor, which of course comes across as Harry's sense of humor. Constant references to the Princess Bride. It's just totally my cup of tea. Cold Days is the newest one. It is not newly out. I'm just a little bit behind. And so since I had a whole lot of time to sit around and couldn't do anything, that's what I've been doing, is reading that book. And reading Cold Days, which is all about ice and winter, and knitting on this. Loved it. Loved it. So, what is this thing? Totally my creation. So, hold on just a second. Okay, totally my creation. Camp Loopy 3 said it had to be 800 yards. And I found a sweater that I liked called Twisted. That was, for my size, 900 to 1,000 yards. And I thought, there you go. So, I got the yarn. And then looked at the pattern for Twisted. And realized I didn't want to knit it that way. So basically, I'm using Twisted as inspiration. Susan B. Anderson's cardigan, raglan cardigan formula as my actual pattern. So, as you can see, it is a raglan with a little bit of 4x2 ribbing at the top. Okay. Yes, it is intentionally very drapey and loopy in the front, so that you can then like take a shawl pin or just let it hang with it like a tank top underneath, like it's a shawl. Okay. It is going to be short sleeve. Right now I just have the waist yarn in, but I'm going to pick it up and do the 4x2 ribbing on the sleeves, and that's about it. And then this is where the end of the first ball was. And then the ribbing is the second ball. The ribbing on the sleeves will be the second ball. And then I'll go down and finish. I am going to make it shorter to where it sits right at my belt line. And that should be right at 800 yards, a little bit over. So, there we go. So this is about 90 grams of my second ball. And the two balls together were 900 plus yards, because Susan has some major big skeins, which is awesome. So there you go. This is what I've been spending a lot of my time on, because it's stockinette in the round, which means knit, 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 knit. And when you're not feeling well, this is about all you can handle. So lace knitting on the awesome shawl, couldn't handle it. Working on my other sweater, my Lizette, couldn't handle it. Too involved. So let me show you where I am on my Lizette. The back, it's all worked in pieces. The back is completely done. The front bottom is done. You can see that's the waist shaping details you can see there. Again, this is where I did a long tail provisional cast on, knit 3 rows, did a purl row, knit, no, excuse me, 6 rows, did a purl row, knit 6 rows, and then used the long tail cast on and knit it back together with where I actually was in my knitting to make this nice folded hem. And I can tell you that because that is a complete Carolyn modification of the pattern. That has nothing to do with the pattern at all. That is a Carolyn modification based on an Anne Herzog fit to flatter. So let me show you a picture of Lizette. That's not a good picture. Sorry. Here we go. So Lizette is this cute little sweater. Definitely a summery sweater. I've got notes all over this. Sneak this in right here. See, there's the front. Love that front. I'm knitting it out of Elizabeth Levold Empathy in Egyptian blue. And I've got so many different balls going to different places. Like there's a ball of yarn going to the bottom of the front. There's 2 balls of yarn going here. So this is the top. It doesn't look as great because it's not blocked yet, but awesomeness. It's going to be very revealing. So this is where I am, again, cabling and 2 different balls. Not while I'm sick. Nope, nope, nope. Lots of sock, again, mindless sock knitting. The one I actually happen to have with me is my Rockstar socks from my Knit Psycho goodie bag swap package in my Elizabeth Quinton bag. So that is what has been going on. Some various other sock knitting. But let me show you some more SSK goodies real quick. I also have some awesome yarn that I got in the mail that I don't have with me from Lollipop Yarns that I cannot wait to show you. But I'm just going to show you SSK purchases today, not all of my crazy other purchases that I've been buying. So, first up, Fat Squirrel Fibers in this gorgeous teal colorway. Awesome sauce. So, these are 150 gram skeins, 600 yards of fingering weight. 2 of them will make a sweater. I don't know what sweater yet. I'm leaning towards low tide for this. So tell me what you think. Low tide? Something else? I don't know. Awesome. This is her ginkgo base. It's called Tree Swallow. It's the colorway. And it's her Superwash Merino Silk. Then I purchased this because, well, look at the colors. It's just so me. And the name cracks me up. It cracks me up.